Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Squat Cobbler. I'm Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram.
And I am the human NFT that is Dr. Mike. You can find me at Official Pagan on everything. And you guys really need to like and subscribe to this show because, first off, you get us. Amazing. Second off, at 1,000 subscribers, there's some kind of party somewhere.
That's right.
So,
no, we can be very specific about this party. There's a party at Vex's, so I'm good with that. We need to that's the way it's going to be. But yeah, we will definitely do something to commemorate. Thanks for any of you new subscribers out there. Thanks very much for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, as Mike mentioned, please do. Today going to be, I think, maybe a short one. We've said that sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but maybe.
Right.
Maybe
Actually, before you even get started, I do have to ask, which is only going to pad the running time here. What's going on in your background there, sir?
Oh, that was from an Alice Cooper concert, and the fine Nita Strauss, guitarist, featured heavily there in it. So I just was firing it up, and I had that background available, and I said, "That seems like I'd like to kind of use this one tonight." So it's just, I think it was may have been the last Cooper concert I went to. So she just did the Star Spangled Banner for one of the wrestling events recently here, NXT. And so she does a lot. And now that we're super close friends with Dave LaGreca, who's got a good connect with Nita, maybe someday we can get her on. But there's a problem if Nita comes on the show, because somebody on the show is going to talk about me wanting to punch Chuck Garrick.
Well, I was going to mention, you know who I don't see behind you.
Yeah, he's knocked out. He's flat. I think
so you had to crop him out so you didn't just accidentally punch your screen just looking at him as he's there.
No, that's not the. Yeah, I think we'll get some Bisto Blanco up next one just to refute the shot of a very happy Kelly with Bisto Blanco, and no punching happening whatsoever. So.
Charity wrestling match.
Yeah, it would be so painful for folks to watch. And I don't want to hurt Chuck. And when I say I don't want to hurt Chuck, he might have to try and pick me up or something. And that's not going to be good. I mean, he looks like a strong guy, but I don't think he's picking Kelly up strong. So it might be a bit of a problem for him. So I'm not sure that I would give the fans the entertainment value they deserve for a charity wrestling thing, but I'll at least consider it. So
I mean, I'm gonna say it like this. I did a charity song last year, so I think it's your turn this year. You do the charity thing. A wrestling match seems like it's on even footing too. I sat here in this exact room that you see and wrote a song. That seems like an even amount of physical
doing what
exertion.
you do regularly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it
exactly
seems like an even distribution of the physical exertion we're putting towards charity.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. So this would be one way to make it not a short show, is to continue on this road. Yeah, you're right. Fair point. But what we will try and do is Mike and I both have our AtGames Legends Cores, and we're slowly preparing to share more content with you as we look to connect and play pinball together, use the voice stuff, do the lobby thing a little bit with some other ways to do some co-play. But recently, Mr. Belinsky has become in possession of a copy of the front-end CoinOps with some ROMs attached to it, and wanted to give him the basic steps to get that set up, give him some homework to do. And I'm skeptical. There's a video actually done by this channel on how to do it, so that if this doesn't stick with you, maybe you can go back and review some of our previous content. But we'll see how it goes with Mike, and then we'll report back, of course, since it's been a bumpy road for Mike on a few things like Super Console X, actually getting a core, things like that. So are you excited, Mike? You ready to go?
I am excited. So this drive showed up at my door mysteriously. And it has what I have been told are completely legal ROMs already loaded on there. So I have this drive, I have my core. What are the next steps for me?
Okay, so You had actually some pre-work to do, which was
Did not do it.
Did not do it, of course. Why am I surprised? Not shocked at all. Okay,
Not prepared.
So the first step of your homework will be to bring your core up and go to the firmware update. And you will either see something when it'll list the version of your firmware. It'll be like an ATAD and a bunch of numbers, so a very kind of unusual looking version number, pretty lengthy, and beginning with the letter A. If you've got that, life is good. And to use CoinOps, you will stick the USB in a. We'll talk about this in a second. You're going to need a USB splitter too. So, but you'll be able to just get going with that USB that you have. However, if you're at a version 5. I don't know where we're at now, 20 something. If you're at a kind of a AtGames current level version number, it seems like most of the cores shipped using a kind of unique firmware for them, and that would work with a single USB drive, and away you could go, and you can be up and running. But if you are actually at an AtGames version, like a 5.20 or 23 or something like that, you're going to have to do some extra steps, because there's a thing now called Flash Drive X, and we're gonna have to work with that. So the steps will be: 1, determine your firmware situation. 2,
Let's cheat and say that I already did. Here it is. I sent Kelly a picture of it.
Oh, you did. I know. Good job, Mike. So I'm going to pretend that I don't see what that is right now. I'm going to tell you both ways. but as you see, Mike was completely prepared. So good job, Mike.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Assuming that now what you need to have is a USB splitter. Ideally, what I would do is get a 4-way splitter for the USB, because the core only has one USB port. And if you're going to do multiplayer, you're going to need a splitter. If you're going to do anything with CoinOps or actually pinball, which we can talk about in a little bit too, you're going to need to have not only your controller attached, but a USB drive. So secure a USB splitter if you do not already have one. The good news is it does not have to be powered. You don't have to have a powered USB splitter. It can just be just a straight up USB splitter and USB powered, and you're all going to be okay. So attach your USB splitter to your core, attach your controller so that you can navigate the menus, and put in not the mysterious USB that showed up for you, but a new USB. Needs to be, I'd say, a gig would be sufficient. Doesn't need to be any bigger than that. Put that into the USB splitter as well. From there, you will navigate to something called Flash Drive X. And Flash Drive X, you'll see that come up, and there'll be 2 options on that: format and mount. And I know you're excited already, but format, you'll want to format first. Format your USB and then mount it. And so that's going to basically allow the core to recognize the USB. So you get that done. So get your splitter, put in your controller, put in your non-CoinOps USB, and format it and mount it. And you're going to leave that menu, and you're going to go to, I believe it'll depend on your version number, which we all know, Mike shared earlier, but we'll talk about both. Assuming it was the kind of weird, non-traditional version number, underneath the BYOG option, you can go to that and you will see a CoinOpsX icon. And you just go down to CoinOpsX and click on that, and it'll say I need to install CoinOpsX, and it's really just installing the connection between the core and your CoinOps software. So that's kind of what this USB is needed for. So you just do an install there. Really important that you don't put that other USB in and reformat it or overwrite all the stuff, because all the goodies are on the other one. So just kind of do that one USB and get CoinOps on there. And then when that's all done, then pop in the additional one, go back and hit the CoinOps icon, and you should fire up. You should be good to go. Well, I've had pretty decent experience that like the first try it says, I don't see any coin ops here. So every once in a while I've had to kind of go in once or twice to try it, and then it catches and it works just fine. So you've got a USB to format, mount, go and actually go ahead and install CoinOpsX on the new flash drive, then put in the other one, and you should be good to go.
Now, if you were a betting man, this flash drive that arrived with these completely legally gotten ROMs that are on there, how many games would you estimate would be included on there?
Well over 1,000 would be my guess. So that
Very nice.
would be probably a few to keep you busy would be my guess. So just a wild, just kind of taking a stab, but I think that might be a pretty good
complete
stab.
Shot in the dark thing.
Yeah, complete shot in the dark. But in my experience, seeing to me a USB that large, that's probably about 1,000 games on it. So
okay.
We'll go with that. Yeah, so try that out. Now, the other thing that's going to be kind of good for you to know here is with you're an ArcadeNet member as well. You've got a setup there. There are a number of pinball tables that you can download right now as a member of ArcadeNet because they actually do install on a USB. So, and in fact, you cannot play them until you install them on a USB. So, that's where that splitter is going to come in pretty handy, because when you're not enjoying CoinOpsX, you can pop that in and you can start to get to a number of pretty cool tables, included Haunted House, which I think was a favorite of yours.
Yes,
and that's now available. I've done that, hooked it up on my core, and played them on the projector, the big screen, and it's been pretty fun. It is, and we talked about this after a show. It took me quite a while to deduce with my Xbox One controller, which I still have not been able to pair wirelessly to my core, that the flipper buttons are actually the two analog joysticks on the controller. Pushing down on them is the way it gets mapped initially, which you did not appear to be a big fan of.
That doesn't sound like fun.
Yeah. Once I got used to it, it was okay. But it took me a while to kind of figure it out. And there is some decent remapping options, so I expect you could pull them down to the shoulders, which is really where they should go.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what seems like the natural.
That's where I would have put them. So we'll see on that. But yep. So you can get kind of up and running with that, and then of course, as you're trying to do it, if you have some difficulty, I think that would be a wonderful. I don't necessarily live stream for us to record, but we might record some of the progress there. But we'll get you set up, and you can report back if you got CoinOps up and running. In addition, I'll include a link to a video brought to the fine folks by Squat Cobbler that also talked about this in probably a little better detail than I just did.
There was 1,000% less mentions of Kelly physically assaulting Chuck Garrett in that one, though.
Which is why it's my favorite video, as opposed to this one.
But you're going to do a charity wrestling match, and I think that's a worthy cause.
Yeah, that'll. We'll need to probably run that through legal, see how it goes. But just want to put in the same level of effort that you did, Mike. So that's the case. All right. Anything else for this week, sir?
No, I think that about covers it. I got a little bit of feedback about the Evercade episode. If there's any specific games you guys want us to cover on any kind of retro gaming console or system or anything, let us know so that we can, review those games. I think that'll be a lot of fun content for us to do in the near future. Kelly and I have already discussed a few games that I think would be great to start off with that. But I mean, so let's just say a USB has 1,000 games on it. There's a lot of content we could potentially be covering. So that's right. What games do you guys want to see first is really more the question.
Yep. Yeah, I think between things like CoinOps and Super Console X, that we've got pretty good coverage, and we should be able to get to most of them. So
what's funny you mentioned Super Console X, because it looks like there's a USB splitter that looks a lot like the USB splitter from the Super Console X that didn't make it back into the box. So,
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
so
and that I ended up finally upgrading mine just a little bit there, but that had been what I had been using with my core. Was I just pulled it off the Super Console X and was using it, and initially it was working just great. So yeah, so I think you're probably set. Then you got all you need as long as you've got a USB laying around there. You should be good to go.
I'm sure I can find one.
Excellent. All right, folks. Again, thanks if you have subscribed. If you've not, please consider. We really appreciate it. We'll keep kind of cranking this content out. And thanks for watching this week, folks.
Thanks, everybody.